Begin with the front pages of the papers this morning. Starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with Tinubu's government hasn't borrowed from CBN, says Edun. The writer says ways and means to be pinned down to deal with liquidity, add fiscal monetary authorities complementing each other to bring inflation down. Discloses government to borrow less and focus more on domestic resources mobilization. We can see a photo story showing UB America host reception at IMF World Bank meeting. UTME JAMB to arrest parents seen at CBT centers. APC court halts Ganduje suspension. Federal government places ex-Kogi Governor Yahaya Bello on watchlist. The writer says as EFCC declares him wanted. Anti-graft corruption, anti-corruption CSOs tackle EFCC over ex-Kogi governor. You can see that on page 12. On page 4, federal government will pay 3.2 trillion naira as subsidy if tariff hike is reversed, and that's coming from NEC. Poor production, oil minister CDS vowed to curb oil theft in Niger Delta. And of course, on page 29, Crystal Palace set eyes on Lukman to beef up squad. Stories above. Nigeria's sovereign wealth fund grows by 119% to 2.258 trillion naira. Agitation for Yoruba Nation laughable, and that's coming from DHQ. Over 1,000 students, educators abducted, killed in Nigeria. That's coming from UNICEF. And lastly, on the front page of Vanguard, Wicked triumphs as a PDP NEC endorses Damagom-led NWC. We'll take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with living on one front, Borno residents on the edge, tiptoeing on active landmines, IEDs. And we can see an infograph on that report. NCS hands over 1.7 billion naira worth of seized fake drugs to NAFDAC. Over 6,000 illicit weapons recovered nationwide in 3 years. PDP NEC retains Amagom, asks Tinubu to rejig economic team. World Bank, rising inflation, weak earnings push 10 million Nigerians into poverty in 2023. EFCC declares Bello wanted over alleged 80.2 billion naira fraud. Kano APC accuses presidency of sabotaging Ganduje as ex-governor gets reprieve. And that's all we can take. We'll take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with a presidency. APC clash with a PDP on economy, security. Right, it says a ruling party dismisses opposition criticism. 163 writers battle for NLNG $100,000 literature prize. Stories above. APC ask police to arrest impostors who suspended Ganduje. Ondo 2024, 171,000 eligible to vote in APC primary. The police invite a Labour Party candidate Alakpata chairman over Uniben violence. And lastly, on the front page of the Nation, AGF Fagbemi urges Yahaya Bello to surrender. We take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with 80 billion naira money laundry. Federal government places Yahaya Bello on watch list. Immigration alerts DSS. While it says federal government orders of border surveillance, ask DSS, NIA, police to prevent ex-governors escape. EFCC should obey court order restraining ex-governors arrest. Bello's lawyer insists. Ogun acquires 25 vans, mans Lagos Ibadan Expressway with drones. 16 killed as a Borno bus runs over ISWAP explosive. Lagos Calabar Highway, federal government panel to pay compensation within 10 days. Ondo, Ayeda Tiwa, other APC aspirant battle for 171,000 votes. Stories above. Anti-party activities. PDP NEC silent on Wiki. Saraki leads peace panel. Troop rescue pregnant Chibok girls with 3 children. 7 trillion naira remitted to Federation accounts in 6 months, and that's come from Ramfac. And last year, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, federal government enforces price in Abuja supermarket, plans Lagos and Port Harcourt visit. And that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining us still today in the news of Vanguard Life, I am Precious Strictly. Joining me to talk about some of the stories On the front pages of the papers this morning is Mr. UTME, former regional editor, North Vanguard Media Limited. It's good to have you join me this morning, sir.
Good morning, Precious. It's my pleasure to be with you.
All right, let's delve in. And of course, report from the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. He says that Tinubu government hasn't borrowed from CBN. What do you make of this? Do you think he's correct on what he said?
Well, we cannot say whether it's correct or not correct, but one thing is sure that the indicators on the economy of Nigeria today shows that, the federal government seems to be getting its handle right on the economy in terms of the micro and macro economic index. Because if you manage those two aspects very well, you manage your external parameters and your internal parameters right, there is no need to actually go into what we call internal borrowing from the CBN to run your economy. Let's look at this. If you look at the oil trading system in Nigeria, externally, because of so many factors like the various wars that are going on in the world, you understand? Nigeria seems to be doing pretty well in the areas of inflow from oil. So from oil sales outside the country, and if you are able to manage those who steal our oil resources, like those who used to engage in bunkering and coal, which I think the federal government appear to be doing very well right now, because from the various reports we are getting about oil theft being oil thieves being arrested everywhere. So it's a good measure on the part of the federal government to be able to handle that, and then that makes them to be able to manage the inflow from oil sales outside the country. And once you're able to manage them, you'll be able to have enough money, which if you use judiciously or you manage prudently, will help you to do whatever you need to do without having to go borrowing. It's only when the government is mentally lazy or let me say philosophically lazy that they go ahead borrowing unnecessarily, when you are not borrowing to finance any significant project. In the course of you reading out the headlines in the newspapers, there was a place where you mentioned 7 trillion naira being remitted to federation account. That's a lot of money in Nigeria. And when you look at it, if the federal government is able to remit about 700 trillion into the federation account, then we begin to look at who are the people managing the 7 trillion naira. We have about 37 people now managing the 7 trillion, and those are the 36 governors plus Tinubu. So if Tinubu is managing his own quota, his own end of the economy well, then Nigerians should be able to task the individual governors in the state and ask them, are they managing their own? Are they managing the system? What kind of economic development are they doing? See, these are going where you get your money in the state, and then what you do is just go and open up the soil somewhere, and then you say you are building government. You have to do concrete projects that will change the economy, that will change the living standard of people in your state. Not many governors are doing that at the moment. So I think what we need to do more is to task our governors. If they do not know what to do, they should assemble competent people around them to be able to tell them what to do, so that with a lot of money coming into their wallets, there's no reason why the state should be lagging in their civic responsibility to Nigeria. So it's a commendable thing that the federal government hasn't actually borrowed any money from CBN, running to about a year that the administration incubated.
All right, moving on, he also mentioned that the federal government would pin down ways and means in order to deal with the problem of too much liquidity in the system. What ways do you think the federal government can alleviate the pressure of excess money in the system?
Well, one major steps that was attempted in the past, which have succeeded very well, is to reduce the how do I call it, the usage of hard currency. Hard cash. You understand? So when you reduce your hard cash system and you go into what we call cashless society, it reduces the pressure, unnecessary pressure on your currency, on the currency, and then the quantum of money in circulation. I mean, I do not see why we are so fixated in this country with spending money. I mean, you have to, until you touch raw cash, that's where you think you have money. You understand? Many leading banks in Nigeria today are actually doing very well in the area of cashless money distribution. I mean, I don't want to market. I mean, I don't want to mention some of the banks, but the top banks in Nigeria are doing very well. So one way to do is to make sure is to ensure that we consolidate more on the cashless monetary system. You know, in every aspect of life. Where if you want to do some you want to do some purchases in the supermarket, or you want to pay some of your bills, or you even want to rent a house, or you even want to pay for transportation. It is going to take a while, but then we are getting there. Let me give you an instance. There is no reason for Lagos state government to condone, passengers who want to board the various trains in Lagos to pay them in cash. I mean, there's no reason why they can't use card, why they can't use the ATM cards to do whatever they want to do. The same thing could go into housing. It's going to take a while in the area of housing because the bulk of the housing facilities in Nigeria are owned by individual persons. When we are able to strengthen our what do you call it? When we are able to strengthen our real estate development in such a way that the society gets better organized, then maybe we move on into that. But we need to strengthen our cashless monetary system in order to be able to mop up the excess liquidity.
All right, moving on now. The federal government has, placed the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, on its watch list, alerting security agencies in the country to arrest him at any exit and entry point. Also, the IG withdrew policemen attached to him. What's your take on the situation for the former governor?
I think we need to be very correct. We need to be correct. Let me say literally correct on what terms we are using it. I'm not sure federal government would declare Yahaya Bello a wanted person or put him on security watch, because there's not been any report of any security breach on his part. Yes, he could have had he could have cases to answer with the EFCC or ICPC or any other security agency, but that does not amount to federal government placing him on security watch. Because you see, when it comes to placing somebody on security watch, you need to have committed some kind of insurrection against a country, against a nation. Because when you use the word federal government is not Tinubu, federal government is not IG, federal government is not even EFCC. Federal government is federal, that's Abuja plus the individual state. That's the federal government of Nigeria. And it takes the Council of State through the National Assembly to be able to place somebody on security watch. I don't think that's what they have done here. What they have done here is that security agencies in Nigeria might have placed him on security watch, because there was a report of when he was to be arrested last week, and I think some policemen prevented the EFCC from doing that. I do not see why the IG, if he is alive to his job, is still allowing those policemen who are around Yahaya Bello to still wear the uniform of police up to today, if that happened, because that is basically obstruction of justice. That is basically preventing the police from doing his job. By today, those characters, those policemen should not be wearing police uniform. They should have been the uniform have been arrested accordingly and be taken in for obstructing justice. You understand? That's the way it is. One single individual is not bigger, is not stronger than any nation or than any society. So it is totally wrong on the part of the police IG to say that is being placed on police work. That is the religion of duty, and it means the IG is actually incompetent, you understand, on what he's doing if he does not know what to do right now. I mean, when you look at the report today, they say he's withdrawing the policemen that it's not withdrawal that you need. You understand? Those policemen already handled, they already behaved in a way that affected the security of a nation, and so they should pay for it. Because when you are wearing the uniform, it doesn't give you the right. You understand? Yahaya Bello was not being attacked by an unknown individual. No, Yahaya Bello wanted to be arrested by a lawfully established organization, the EFCC, and there's no reason for the police to now rise up against Yahaya Bello. Yes, we could say that maybe, probably, I don't know, maybe EFCC did not get a court permit before going ahead to say, I want to arrest Yahaya Bello, but I bet that if that is what happened, then you have this kind of breach of law on the part of the agency operatives, like we did in the case of Yahaya. But if they did have the arrest warrant from a competent court, those policemen who are attached to Yahaya Bello should be arrested by now and their uniform taken away from them. But federal government has no business, making Yahaya Bello to be, being on the security watch, on a security list, because I did not see how it has not been reported how he has committed any kind of a treasonable offense against the nation.
All right. So according to the story that we have, it says that the former governor was supposed to be in court yesterday to enter his plea to a 19-count charge of alleged complicity in money laundering, breach of trust, and misappropriation of funds to the tune of about 80 billion naira. But he was absent. And also, some civil society organization have also, cautioned the EFCC and other anti-graft agencies against trampling on the rights of supposed suspects of corruption to avoid breaking a law to enforce another law. What do you make of this?
Well, there are two issues that you raised here. He was supposed to appear in a court to answer to some charges, which is okay, which means he has been properly arraigned in a court and he was supposed to come and answer to those charges. He has a subpoena on him. By even avoiding to be present in court, that's a criminal offense, in Nigeria, and that warrants is being arrested. And like I said before, no policeman should allow him to flout the law, particularly the judicial order, to be in court to answer to his charges. If any policeman is doing that, that's aiding and abetting breach of law. And when we say he was supposed to be in court, by now, if he has been arraigned and he has not been arrested because he feels that he's living in a kind of cocoon, then there should be something. The security agencies need to take extra measure through collaboration of the police and the EFCC. You understand? They know where Yahaya Bello is if they want to get him. You understand? And they should be able to, by now, you understand, it should not take IG announcing that his police attaché or his police orderlies have been arrested. Yahaya Bello does not have any significant power beyond the power of Nigeria. He doesn't want power to even truncate Kogi State, not to talk about Nigeria. So if he's not in court to answer to his charges, that is an additional offense that he has committed. First of all, he might have evaded arrest from a constituted authority, which I don't know whether they will charge him for that. And then in addition to jumping the subpoena of a lawfully constituted court, that's a very serious offense. Secondly, when you mentioned some of the civil society, you call it civil society organizations trying to say that the FCC should not trample on the rights of Nigeria. In Nigeria that is lawfully arraigned is no longer an ordinary Nigeria that is entitled to rights and obligations beyond certain level. You understand? You see, when you commit an offense against a nation, you need to answer to that offense in a lawfully constituted court. And at that moment, there is a limit to how your rights is going to abate for you. You understand me? It's going to stand up for you in the area of constitutional rights. You understand? So the civil society needs to get Yahaya Bello to understand that, okay, fine, the lawful agency has gone to court. You, as a leader in the society, you need to be in court equally to answer to those charges in a way that will help us to develop our law and order. This is how the rule of law, is able to get developed in normal societies.
All right, moving on now. According to the registrar of JAMB, he is saying that any parent or guardian seen at any computer-based test centers during the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Exam will be arrested. And this is coming against the backdrop of what he says, that it has been discovered that over time that many of these intruding parents are facilitators of examination infraction, and others have been seen to disrupt the board's examination in the past. What do you make of this?
This is a laughable story, actually, because some of us have gone through this process before, and I'm not sure I remember that my parents ever even knew the place where I wrote my JAMB, not to talk about, accompanying me or being an escort to go to the JAMB place. I mean, JAMB exam centers. You understand? You see, there is a way we damage our society. When competent parenting, which I mentioned earlier, sometime when we were having this program, when we were talking about being able to live to the current situation in Nigeria. Competent parenting is one key thing that is missing in Nigeria. And I am telling you, people don't always like to listen. The religious organizations had failed Nigeria, and there's no reason why we should continue to follow them, because they are failing in their duties of even making their followers to be able to be competent parents. If a child that is due to write JAMB is no younger than 10 years old, let's say between 9 and 10 years old, a 9 to 10 years old should be able to be introduced to life independently, because the initial security arrangement will have been made to ensure that that particular child is not in any danger at all. It's just for the child now to go and demonstrate what he had been reading or what she had been reading, and now.
Yeah, I think you mean I think you mean 15 to 16, because they would need to take this JAMB to get into university.
Sorry, I'm missing it. I mean, the enrollment is to secondary school is about 9 to 10 years. 15 to 16 years. That's a lot. That's quite a competent age. That's an age where our children should be able to face life, in a protected environment independently without being guided. But when you look at what is happening now, some parents in the task of protecting their children or giving them good life, you follow them to JAMB centers. You try to moderate the outcome of the effort, of the examination effort, and you find that when these children grow up, they are not even able to face the rigorous training that is needed in either the polytechnic or university or higher institutions that they are going. And then you now see the parents coming in again to get the lecturers to moderate how the outcome of the students training in those institutions. Now, when they get out, they are not able to defend the certificate or the training that they said they are being certificated on in the universities or in the polytechnic or in colleges of education, and then the whole society collapses. That's why you don't have good teachers, you don't have good educators, you don't have good medical doctors, you don't have good bankers, good politicians, and then we turn around and blame federal government for it. We should blame ourselves. You understand? When we were growing up, many of our parents did not even know what JAMB was, because they didn't go to school. And some of us went on our own, we did the JAMB. Sometimes you have to travel beyond your community to be able to write your JAMB. For those who are living in rural areas like me, you understand, and I'm very proud about that, you understand, you have to travel so many cities and towns before you can write JAMB. Or you now find out that some parents escort their parents their ones and their children to the exam centers, and then they are bribing the invigilators and doing some other things. This is very wrong. They should be arrested. And not just be arrested, they should be made to face the law in a very effective manner.
All right, moving on now. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, said that available data indicated that Nigeria has recorded over 1,000 students or educators abducted, killed, or harmed. How do we nip this in the bud? What's the way forward for us?
This is a very tough one because you see, I won't be surprised that the bulk of the number that you read now must have come from those who from the crisis we are having in the area of those how do I call them, nomadic herdsmen who were carrying guns and raiding communities, and then the professional abductors or kidnappers who go to schools, kidnap children, and then demand ransom. For us to be able to not to even reduce, we should not be talking about reducing this. We should be talking about eliminating it, because if you have one educator abducted, it has its own ripple effect on the educational system, and so we should not even allow this to even happen at all in the country. But now that it's happening, what we need to do is to see how we can eliminate it. But eliminating it is just taking one. It's not about taking one single action. It's about taking an holistic and methodical actions that will help the system to be able to heal, because our system right now is hemorrhaging seriously. If we are able to, if we are not able to protect our educational system from attack by kidnappers, by terrorists, by whoever, by terrorists, including the parents that are escorting their children and their wards to exam centers, then we're going to have a major collapse in the educational system. Have you noticed, there is a trend that is going on now that people talk about JAPA, you understand? I'm telling you, feedback from those people that have even traveled out of the country now. We've seen a number of reports from UK. You understand? Many of our professionals are not even able to face up to the rigor of the kind of job or task that they are trained, ab initio supposedly to have been trained to do in Nigeria, and when they get over there and they are given the task on those jobs, they are not able to face it. You understand? These are some of the things. Before, Nigeria used to be at the top of the ladder in terms of educational development. That so many people from outside the country come to our country for training, for all those things. So we need to do something about it, and it starts from home. It starts from the parents. If the parents, those who are abducting our educators, were born by certain women, by certain men, you understand? If we train our children competently or very well at home, you understand, you will be able to get them to live in a civic manner that helps the society, helps their individual, and helps the family. There's an aspect of the Bible that you should train your child the way you want he or she to go, and when he or she grows up, they will not depart from it. That's a life lesson that we need to follow for us to avoid this kind of situation. But there's nothing we can do immediately right now. You can boost the number of security men that are available, the number of policemen that are available. It doesn't mean that kidnappers will stop. Kidnapping is a behavior. It is a harmful behavior that we need to change using effective behavior therapy system. You understand? And it starts from home. So that's what I can say about that. It's a tough one for the society.
All right, let's move ahead and look at Mr. and Mrs. Mr. is speaking this morning. He says, the man is a member of board of directors. He smiled at you and gave you an envelope filled with money. Are you sure it's not a Greek gift? And Mrs. responds, and she says, Greek? No, it's American. The envelope contains American dollars.
That's a good one. I'm not sure Greece is giving any gift any longer. The gift that Greece gave to us in the world, I'm not sure. Well, they said they gave us democracy. You understand? But then I don't see how their democracy is more popular than the African democracy. But then, the missus knows how to respond very well, because if American dollar is what is in the envelope given to her, then it can be Greek gift. Because Greek gift is, you come from Greek, and I'm not sure Greek spends dollars. If I give you now, Precious, if I give you an envelope full of Nigerian naira, will you say it is a Greek gift? It is a Nigerian gift. That's a good one, really. That's a good one. That guy is always very, funny with his comic applications.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rotimi Ajayi, former regional editor, North Vanguard Media Limited. Thank you for sharing your thought with us this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank everybody.
All right. Also, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find out today's stories, go to our website, www.vanguardindia.com, to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.